So, I got a message yesterday from my old roommate. It was okay and if I wanted to talk. He knows that, so my old roommate, Zayn, used to hang out in the hot tub with Toby Mac down at the YMCA on, I believe it's Church Street in Brentwood. And I used to live at 100 Paxton Court, which is probably about 100 yards away from Michael Tate's house is where I lived. Maybe 150 yards away from Michael Tate's house. And I used to go over to his house. I moved into 100 Paxton Court in July or August, maybe September. I know I was still there in October of 98, and I was still there in the spring of 99. And that's when Tennessee Titans football stadium went into effect. September of 99 was our first game at the stadium. And I was still going over to Tate's house while I was dating Leslie, and I didn't meet her until 2001. So I was around Tate. Everybody in the entire industry has known for decades that Michael Tate is gay. None of this is new. What people are not paying attention to is that Freemasonry is a religion of homosexuals, and Michael Tate, Kevin Max, and Toby Mac are all three Freemasonic homosexuals. So this is mine and Zane's private conversation from yesterday, but this is the house that I was living in when my Jetta got totaled, and my Jetta got totaled June 30th of 2000, and I was working at the church at Bethel World Outreach Church out in Brentwood, Tennessee, where Michael Tate attends, probably even still. So I was living in that house, but the reason that, hold on, let me find, Brian, I saw a news article today that brought you to mind. I want to know if you know what I'm talking about, and if you need an old friend to talk to about it, I'm here. And I wrote back, I'm confused. To which Zayn replied, Michael Tate has been accused, in the press only, no law enforcement entities as far as I know, of some pretty ugly things. I replied back, I've been accusing him of being Chad's gay lover for years. So I didn't add this into that message, but Chad, when I used to live at 100 Paxton Court back in 98 and 99, Chad was the drummer for Tate's band that's called Tate. And I met Chad's parents over at Tate's house. I met Chad's brother, I believe his name is either Ronnie or Lonnie, and he is the bass player for the band Petra. So I would be at Tate's house. I probably was there 10 or 20 times at least that I can remember. And he lived really so close that I was over there quite a bit, even if it was just stopping and dropping off pizzas. After I would get off of work, it was like going to Tate's house was something normal. So in the past, my friend Randall Thomas, who I happen to know is Illuminati, and Illuminati simply means that they are illuminated because they are Freemasons. Randall Thomas's dad wrote the song Butterfly Kisses for Bob Carlyle. So Randall's dad is the guitar player for Shania Twain. And Shania Twain's guitar player, his son, that I was hanging out with on a regular basis out in Nashville, told me that Michael Tate was gay a long time ago. And we started an inside joke about how soft his hands are because we had both shaken Michael Tate's hands, and we could tell that for some reason he was a little feminine. So this is something that not a lot of people will even believe, but for Gaither Family Vocal Band performed at the Gaylord Entertainment Center when I was working there for Papa John's, and I had to be there for, I think, 10 or 12 shows in 8 days. And I got to go downstairs all the time, and I bumped into Michael Tate, dressed as his own sister, and performing in the show. Michael Tate was performing in public as a female in drag. I can attest to it. I know Mike so well as far as his little idiosyncrasies that he could never be able to have that be his sister and have me not understand that that was him. There's no way. I've seen when I was in the Black Gospel Entertainment industry, I went to Central South Distribution Conference, and there was another guy there who came up and started talking to me and Montreal Darrett, and then, and Mike E. And then, I don't know, 15 minutes later, this old black lady shows up, and she's sitting there and she's talking to Montreal Darrett, and she's talking about pretty much the same stuff that he had just been talking to Trail about when he was a guy. So this guy was trying to do a thing like Tyler Perry, where he was wearing a woman's outfit as a embarrassment ritual at a Freemason event. Like, that's what these guys at the record labels are. When I was part of Rough Rider Records, now I understand that Rough Riders are the men who ride goats. That's the sheep and goats judgment in Scripture. When Yeshua comes back, he's going to pull all the Masons out of the ecclesia, out of the congregation, and put them in the lake of fire. So, yesterday's video that you guys saw that had to do with Max Lucado and the grip of a Master Mason is because of Zayn, because Zayn was, up until recently, the keyboard player at Max Lucado's church. Because he's been sick, he had to step down from that position. But yes, my old roommate, Zayn, was the keyboard player for Max Lucado. So I told Zayn that I would make him a Max Lucado video, but I have plans of doing a lot more. Like, he hasn't even seen these things yet that I've already sent him. He only saw this yesterday. I sent him a copy of An Inconvenient History with probably Alexandra, because she exposes that the Freemasons have snuck into the churches and they're teaching Kabbalah. So giving him her input to begin with, I'm going to start letting him see what I've understood for years. And I'm going to, he said that he's willing, even though he really loves Max Lucado, he is willing to listen to me when I say that I can prove that Max is Freemasonic, Luciferian, and completely evil. So, you guys, this stuff is nuts. Like, really nuts, crazy. So I was roommates with Zayn when Rob Taylor came over to our house. Rob Taylor is the husband of Britney Spears' manager, Lou Taylor. I ended up going to Calvary Chapel Brentwood, which is Lou Taylor, Britney Spears' manager. But our church was owned by Puff Daddy. And Max Lucado's buddy, T.D. Jakes, is directly connected to going to white parties for that kind of stuff. And we just saw the Brad Pitt thing with Puff Daddy. And there's more people that will be coming out and talking about Mr. Puff Daddy and his red fez hat, which means that he's a Shriner of the 32nd degree. Mace and Betha, Mace, the rapper, Murder Mace, that is now a pastor at the Gathering Oasis that has a chevron for their logo. These Freemasons have snuck into church leadership. They're all pedophiles. They are all touching minor children. That's what's going to help bring down all the current world churches. They're all going to crash before the return of Messiah. The man of lawlessness has to be revealed. Saint Germain, Lucifer, will be out on the world stage before the return of Messiah. And everybody will know that you have to join the pedophiles or die. So,
Michael Tate,
this is tragic.
the celebrated
but it is absolutely not something that is
Michael
unexpected,
Tate,
at
the
least
celebrated
in
front
my
man
eyes.
of the Newsboys and the
I've
song
been
God Is
expecting
Not
this for
Dead, the
decades.
iconic voice behind DC Talk's Jesus Freak, and
These
a man
guys
who
are
once led
Freemasons.
prayer on
They
stage for
worship the
President
devil,
Trump, is now at the center of a devastating
they
sexual abuse
intentionally
scandal
are
that has
trying to
rocked the Christian
embarrass
music
the
world.
name
Multiple
of the
men
Messiah,
have come forward alleging
even
sexual
though they
assault,
call him
substance abuse,
Jesus
and
and
manipulation.
turn many
Once
people
celebrated
away.
across stadiums, Tate is
Yeshua
now being
HaMashiach
exposed in one of the most disturbing
isn't
scandals
getting
to ever
tarnished
hit
by
the
this.
contemporary Christian
This
music
Hebrew
scene.
faith
And while his
isn't
band
getting
rushes to
tarnished by
re-record
this.
new
And
singles and
everybody
his
thinks,
defenders
oh, well,
scramble for
Tate's
answers,
embarrassing
a
Jesus.
much deeper
There's
question
no
cries
such
out
person.
for response. What
His
happens
name
when
has
someone
no
who leads
definition
worship
in
also
English,
leads
Greek, or
others
Hebrew.
into darkness?
The name Yeshua, when Elizabeth and when Mary went to see Elizabeth and the angel appeared to her,
Welcome to the
the
511
angel said,
News
you shall call
podcast.
his
We
name
praise God for you
Yeshua,
guys.
because he
And
will
it's with a
save
heavy heart
his people.
that
And
many of
Yeshua
us
in
have
Hebrew means
just some of the
he
scandals
will
that have been
save.
rocking the church.
This
Michael
name
Tate
Jesus
has
has
millions
no
of
definition
fans.
in
The
the
Newsboys
English,
have
Hebrew, or Greek.
countless fans. And
It's a
in this 511 show,
anti-Christ
you've probably
religion.
noticed, because
It's the
Chad usually hosts this show.
anti-Messiah
We do this
religion,
often together,
because
as well as Good
Christ
Fight,
is Christ
a radio program.
consciousness that these New Agers are
Chad
following.
won't be here today.
It doesn't
He's
have to
off
do
on a
with
long
Mashiach.
overdue vacation in
Christ
Montana
have
with
completely
his wife
different
and 4 children, my daughter and my 4 grandchildren.
attributes.
And
They're not
pray
the
that they
same
have
person.
a safe trip
You
back.
can't
Hey there,
say
guys.
that the
Hate
Jesus
to
in the
interrupt the
Bible
video,
that
but we wanted
the
to give you a
Christians
chance to
claim
see some of the
threw away
projects
the
that Good
law,
Fight
and
Ministries
now is lawless.
has worked
You
on.
can't
And
claim
so,
that
here's a
that
chance.
same
Take a look.
Jesus figure is the
We
same
like to
as the
thank
law-keeping
Satan.
The hit
Yeshua
documentary
HaMashiach
that
of different
He used to
people.
always talk about
They have two different sets of
some
attributes.
devil or something was in him, and he
These
didn't have
people
any
who are
control
singing
over
in
it.
the name
showing
of
you in
Jesus
detail
have different attributes
how the
than
biggest
those of us
names
that
in
are
music
keeping
We're not really
feasts,
making it. It's
the
just
Moedim,
kind of making it
the
silly.
Sabbath,
have
the
sold
Torah.
their soul.
We have different attributes.
He was not a showman.
We don't
He
look
was
the
a
same. We
shaman.
don't act
He
the
was
same.
possessed, man.
They
We are
sold
set
their
apart.
souls
We're
for rock
called
and roll.
away from being
Support
in
us
that
by
world.
owning it today
I
on
thank
DVD
Yah
or stream it on
every
demand.
day
Learn more at the
that
link
he
below
would take
or at
me
goodfight.org.
out from where I was.
And if
in
you would
that
like to
world, in
support Good
that-
Fight Ministries, you can go to
all of it, in that
patreon.com/goodfight and become a
and moving
Patreon
me all the way over
subscriber
to where I am
there.
now.
Now, back
I
to
am
the video.
Man,
eternally
this is
grateful.
really, really heartbreaking. In fact, speaking of
I love
Chad,
you guys.
he shared that
We've expected
sometime
this
back,
Tate stuff.
a lady had visited the
From
church
what
that
I
was in the
understand,
music industry,
none of the
contemporary
victims
Christian music,
are.
and she had shared with him
There's no charges,
because we'd at time
and
have Christian
according to
bands
Zayn, there could be a statute
play
of
and so forth,
limitations
but we
that would
always made
stop
sure
them from doing anything
that
anyways.
as best we could that they were living
So,
moral lives and their lyrics were biblical and so forth.
Love
But
you
when
guys.
Newsboys came up, she
Go
mentioned
over
that
here and
Michael
watch
Tate this was
this set of videos right here at the top that says Christian music industry exposed as Freemasonic Luciferians, or Freemason hand signs in the church. How Bethel and Puff Daddy sex cults connect. File pastors. All of these guys are connected, you guys. Paid by all the biggest name pastors to come out and do events. All those guys have green rooms. All those green rooms have people who are begging to be around the celebrities. That name celebrity even comes from Freemasonry. They are the celebrities, the people who are coming to the lodge to be able to speak in front of the group of Masons is a celebrity, a celebratee. Every single bit of what's going on is Luciferian. Michael Tate is a star. The stars are the angels and the fallen angels. I love you guys. Come out of the beast.